You know, you would think most of our colleagues would know about this one very important part of the work that we do, but unfortunately, not everybody does. What's up, everyone? This is Ernesto from Social Work AI Magic. Now, in this video, we're covering pillar number 2. So when I first developed the Social Work Magic suite of AI tools, I assumed that all of my colleagues would always keep in mind one of the most important cornerstones of the work that we do, confidentiality. However, I quickly learned that that is not always the case. How do I know this? Well, on the back end of the Social Work Magic AI tool, I can sometimes see a general sense of what people are trying to enter as part of their prompts. Now, I can't see everything, but what I can see is when there is an attempt made for someone to enter information that might be considered private or confidential information, because the system is built to not allow those things to be entered into the prompt or the question that a person is asking. Now, I thought I would never see anything on that back end because I assumed most of my colleagues would not be entering confidential information, but it happens. Now, I don't think anyone that has made that mistake has done so in a way that they were trying to do anything bad or purposely sharing this information. I think what happened was either people didn't quite understand their responsibility, and we're going to get into that in a moment, or they just got so excited about this new tool and what it could do that they forgot about their responsibility to confidentiality. So here's the thing. We use tools all of the time in our work. It might be Facebook, it might be text messaging. There's a lot of different tools that we use on the electronic end that we have to be very careful to protect the confidentiality of those that we work with. And there are usually very strict policies and guidelines around those tools such that we can make sure that that confidentiality is protected. But it's not all about tech tools. Let's keep in mind that there are much more simple ways that people sometimes can violate their obligation to confidentiality. For instance, have you ever heard a colleague discussing confidential or even semi-confidential information in a public setting or in a setting where they could not ensure a confidential setting? That does happen. That doesn't require any technology. That's a very simple example of where confidentiality can be violated. Here's another one that I've seen. Have you ever worked in an office where maybe the public has some access, maybe they are being accompanied to a conference room for a meeting or something like that, and along the way there are printers that people use in the office that can be visible by those visitors who are going to their meeting. And at those printers potentially is information that was printed out from social workers that could theoretically contain confidential information. You may think that's a far out example, but I have seen it happen. The point here is that no matter what the tool or the technology or the scenario, as social workers, as helping professionals, we do always have this obligation to protect the confidentiality of those who we work with. Now, in the past year or year and a half, as AI has come along and progressed and little by little been introduced into a lot of different fields of work, there has been questions, scrutiny about confidentiality, particularly in the work that we do. Will this tool, will this technology violate the private information of those who we serve? Now, at this point, most of the big AI platforms that you probably have heard of,
ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot, Anthropic, Claude,
all these different things that you may or may not have heard of, I've noticed that they are trying their best to be careful about the kind of information that they'll accept, or especially the information that they will provide out as part of their responses. And certainly, as I mentioned, the Social Work Magic AI tool has some functionality built into its algorithm to try to not allow confidential information in the system. However, what you as a user must remember is that none of these systems are fail-proof. None of them are guaranteed to protect confidentiality. So as it has always been, whether it's with a conversation in a coffee shop, a printer in an office, a text message to a youth, or now an AI question and response, the obligation to protect confidentiality lies with you. As part of our ethical and moral obligations in this field of work, we do have that responsibility to be careful with the information that we leave exposed to the world or input into some kind of computer system or technological tool, or even sometimes when and where and how we're even sharing with colleagues. Confidentiality is one of the bedrock foundational concepts about the work that we do, and with AI, it does not change. So, the second pillar of my 6 pillars of responsible and practical AI use in social work is that confidentiality is critical. As I mentioned before, you would think that that statement wouldn't really need to be said, but it is a reminder to those who are using AI, who are getting introduced to it and maybe getting excited and trying to input information to help support their work. Your obligation to protect the privacy of those who you serve does not go away with artificial intelligence. Now, if you want to read more about these 6 pillars of practical and responsible AI use in social work, you can download my free 30-page guide that talks about these 6 pillars. It gives you some effective prompting principles for using AI as a social worker, and also provides a discussion about human social workers versus AI. So if you want to pick that up for free, I'm going to leave a link somewhere in this video, and you'll be able to access that and see for yourself a little bit more detailed explanation of the 6 pillars. But my next video will be coming up, pillar number 3, and you'll want to watch that. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, or whatever it takes to be reminded when my next video comes out of pillar number 3. So remember, keep that information private, but don't let it discourage you from trying AI if you can do so safely, effectively, and responsibly. I'll see you in the next video.